morning, Rangada.
Yeah. So we will start the recording audio. We have started. We have to read today the on page 636. We have to read if this underlying subliminal consciousness. Okay. So we'll read the para and then we'll discuss it. So Archana, you are in a position to read?
Yes, Rangada, let's begin.
Go ahead.
If this underlying subliminal consciousness were to come itself to the surface, there would be a direct meeting between the consciousness of the subject and the contents of the object, and the result would be a direct knowledge. But this is not possible, first, because of the veto or obstruction of the inconscience, and secondly, because the evolutionary intention is to develop slowly through an imperfect but growing surface awareness. The secret consciousness force has therefore to limit itself to imperfect renderings in a surface, vital and mental. Sorry. The secret consciousness force has therefore to limit itself to imperfect renderings in a surface, vital and mental vibration and operation, and is forced by the absence, holding back, or insufficiency of the direct awareness to develop organs and instincts for an indirect knowledge. This creation of an external knowledge and intelligence takes place in an already prepared indeterminate conscious structure, which is the earliest formation on the surface. At first, this structure is only a minimum formation of consciousness with a vague sensational perception and a response impulse. But as more organized forms of life appear, this grows into a life mind and vital intelligence, largely mechanical and automatic in the beginning and concerned only with practical needs, desires, and impulses. All this activity is in its initiation intuitive and instinctive. The underlying consciousness is translated into surface substratum into automatic movements of the conscious stuff of life and body. The mind movements, when they appear, are involved in these automatisms. They occur as a subordinate mental notation within the predominant vital sense notation. But slowly, mind starts its task of disengaging itself. It still works for the life instinct, life need, and life desire, but its own special characters emerge: observation, invention, device, intention, execution of purpose, while sensation and impulse add to themselves emotion and bring a subtler and finer affective urge and value into the crude vital reaction. Mind is still much involved in life, and its highest, purely mental operations are not in evidence. It accepts a large background of instinct and vital intuition as its support, and the intelligence developed, though always growing as the animal life scale rises, is an added superstructure.
Okay, very interesting. So he's talking about the subliminal consciousness. So I'll just remind you that you are the universe. You are just one. The universe is large and spread out everywhere. You are a condensed form of the universe. You are a microcosm, and the universe is the macrocosm of the individual. Whatever is there in the individual is also there in the universe, but expanded. In the individual, it is compressed. Okay, that's the only difference. But you are very much part of the universe. So there is a universal consciousness and there is also an individual consciousness, and there is a big correlation between the two. So when we speak of subliminal consciousness, it can be also universal, impersonal, universal, but also personal and individual. It can be both. So what is the subliminal consciousness? First of all, you have a body, mind, life. This is your outermost surface being. Then there is something below you. There is subconscious. is like the cellar, or if you want, is like the basement of a room. Okay, those things which you don't need or you really are occupying too much space, you put them into this basement. So that's the subconscious. Everything that happens goes down into the subconscious and remains there. Then even below that is the inconscient. So these are all part of you and part of the universe. Remember, the inconscient. The inconscient you can compare to the foundation. The foundation where large structure is going to come up, the foundation has to be very strong and very firm. So that's the inconscient. Now we come horizontally. Deep inside yourself is a subliminal. Srivastava calls that the inner being. He calls it the subliminal, and he also calls it the intraconscient. So there is a subconscient, there is an inconscient below you, inside you is subliminal, and above you is the spiritual planes of consciousness, and the second level and third level. These are what we call the superconscient. Okay, and there is the universe outside you. Inside you is the intraconscient, and outside you is the circumconscient. So this is what you are, and this is the universe. So in the subliminal consciousness, when you go deep into yourself, you have the capacity of the second degree of knowledge. Okay? When you are in your outer nature, your knowledge is through the senses. Therefore, it is indirect. Okay? The senses are not there, you won't get knowledge. So you coming to know of the universe through your senses. That's why it is indirect. And also, it is not yours. Okay? It is something outside. It is superficial. Okay? So this is the nature of the consciousness in the outer nature of body, mind, life. Then when you go into yourself, okay, you get the subliminal consciousness. And the subliminal consciousness is when you rise also in to the higher mind, the direct separative consciousness knowledge comes up. Direct, that means to say I am not using anymore my senses. So suppose Archana is standing in front of me, whatever she is thinking, I can immediately see and understand without her speaking a single word, nor me saying anything at all. I can immediately see her thoughts and emotions. I know from where she has come and what she intends to do. I can know. That is the direct separative knowledge. This is the subliminal knowledge. This is what he's talking about. And when you go up above, okay, that becomes the direct non-separative knowledge. Okay, you become what you want to know. But there again, there are 2-3 levels. Okay, one is the third one is the imperfect identity. Imperfect, partly or half or sometimes intermittent. You may get and it will disappear. You may get and disappear. That's the third. And at the highest level, third level, if you want, supermind and other higher than that, your knowledge is by identity. So it is direct, non-separated knowledge. You yourself become what you want to know. Okay. So this is what Srivastava is saying here about the subliminal consciousness. So keep this in mind, and then we will read the paragraph. Okay. So, if this underlying subliminal consciousness were to come to the surface, there would be a direct meeting between the consciousness of the subject and the contents of the object. Okay. The subject would be Archana and the object would be me. Okay. And I would immediately come to know the contents of the object and the subject. They merge together. Her consciousness and my consciousness will merge. Like two stones cannot merge, but two glasses of water can merge, and two consciousnesses can merge even more easily. Okay, then that becomes a direct knowledge. All right. The consciousness of subject and the contents of the object, and the result would be a direct knowledge. This is the second degree of knowledge. But this is not possible. First, because of the veto or obstruction of the inconscience. The inconscience is the opposite of consciousness. Therefore, it delays, it does not allow. Okay? So, it does not allow you to have access to the subliminal consciousness. It will delay you. And that was necessary because that ensures, the inconscient ensures the stability of forms. Okay? Everything has got a purpose. We may feel it negative and positive, but everything has got a purpose. So the veto, same way using the word veto, does not allow, okay, negates the obstruction of the inconscious. And secondly, because the evolutionary intention is to develop slowly through an imperfect but growing surface awareness. The evolution is very slow. Now, you must not misinterpret this evolutionary intention. So, if an individual has to do that, and you say that he is purposely delaying the thing and making it slow, it's not like that, okay? It's not with a ill will. Don't go too fast, go slow. It's not like that. It is that the complexity of the evolution is so wide and so many small details that it takes time. That is the reason. And this reason you will find also in repeated, the idea is repeated in the mother. When he speaks about Saraswati, okay. Remember the four aspects of the Divine Mother? There is the Maheshwari, then there is Mahakali, then there is Mahalakshmi, and there is Mahasaraswati. Now, Mahasaraswati in India is she is a goddess of knowledge, and that's why Saraswati is always, Vandana is there, the worship of the Saraswati is there for all educational purposes. But this educational purpose is not spiritual. The spiritual knowledge comes from the Maheshwari. But the Saraswati, the knowledge in the physical world. Okay? You can say scientific knowledge is one or materialistic knowledge. But she has another work. She corresponds to the lowest Shudra aspect. And the Shudra has to do menial work. Now, Saraswati also is doing the work. Suppose you are doing yoga, your whole body has to be changed, your vital has to be changed, and your mind also has to be changed. But the difficulties are so much that her work is very slow and very detailed. Because even if a single pebble is there, okay, you will fall. Same way, use this image. If you are going on a scooter and even a small pebble is there, and you go over the pebble, your balance will go, okay, and you will fall. This is what happens also in yoga. So every detail must be worked out. That's why it takes so long in the interior yoga. Everything must be perfectly done. This is the reason why it is slow. Not that the intention, so if you use the word intention, so you may misinterpret, but you must not misinterpret. And the divine is not delaying your progress purposely. The work is so complex and so slow, that's why. In fact, he says that she makes you feel as though it's too slow sometimes. Okay, Saraswati. He has explained this in the book, The Mother. Okay, Mahasaraswati. Her work is detailed, perfect, absolutely perfect. That's why it takes time. Okay, now I go to the next one. Because of the veto or obstruction of the inconscient, and secondly, because the evolutionary intention is to develop slowly through an imperfect but growing surface awareness. Okay, so the secret consciousness force has therefore to limit itself. Which is the secret consciousness force? Consciousness force is Chit Shakti, but Chit Shakti in the subliminal, it has to limit itself. Okay, has to limit itself to imperfect renderings in a surface, vital and mental vibration and operation, and is forced by the absence, holding back or insufficiency of the direct awareness to develop organs and instincts for an indirect knowledge. So, the Chit Shakti from matter, okay, there is, when you come from matter or inconscious, when you come to the subconscious and you come to life, okay, it has to create organs of communication and organs of knowledge. That's what Chandra is saying. The secret consciousness force, which is there in the inconscient, has therefore to limit itself to imperfect renderings in a surface vital and mental vibration and operation, and is forced by the absence of what? Absence of the consciousness, the direct awareness, holding back or insufficiency of the direct awareness to develop organs and instincts also. Instincts also, the animal is the beneficiary of the instincts for indirect knowledge. This creation of an external knowledge and intelligence takes place in an already prepared indeterminate conscious structure, which is the earliest formation on the surface. The indeterminate conscious structure, he's talking of life, already prepared. So from matter, the indeterminate conscious structure comes out as life, which is the earliest formation on the surface. Life forms. And you can say worms, unicellular creatures, there is an indeterminate conscious structure. It comes out on the surface. At first, this structure is only a minimum formation of consciousness, just like the unicellular creature, minimum consciousness. It does have consciousness, it reacts, okay? But very little. It can join or destroy other cellular creatures. Or you can think of a worm, okay? It's got only one sense. So, and a formation of consciousness is a vague sensational perception. The perception is not visual, the perception is not auditory, nor is it from taste or anything. It is only tactual, right? Sensational perception, only touch, okay? And a response impulse, that's all. So the best example of response impulse is the worm, okay, or the caterpillar. There is no mind, there is life, but at a very low level, and all it can do is to receive impulses from the universe and respond accordingly. Okay? Response impulse is a worm. But as more organized forms of life appear, these are the more organized forms of one sense animal, two senses animal, three senses animal, four senses animal, five senses animal. So it slowly goes on increasing. But also you can say the response impulse could be also plants. Okay. All they can do is receive and only mutely give a response. By the way, plants do give response. Huh? They do give response. They react to you. There are people who love plants and the plant also responds in kind. Okay. So there are people who have got green fingers, they say. The plants grow beautifully under their care. Okay. So they do give a response. So rather than the worm, we should add, okay, just 1 second. I will add that. The worm, for example, but even better than the worm is the plants. So, I am just adding plant life. Okay, so I save this. Give me 2 minutes. Just. Okay, last time I thought he is referring to, but now I can see that plant life is even better example of response impulse. Okay, the impulse comes and this is a response. So then now the more organized forms of life, one by one sense creature, two sense creatures, three sense creatures, four sense creatures, it goes on. Okay, more organized forms of life. They are more organized. The word organized is in opposition to indeterminate conscious structure. Okay? Indeterminate, no specific organization at all. No specific organs have been created. Then, but as more organized forms of life appear, this grows into a life mind and vital intelligence, largely mechanical and automatic in the beginning, and concerned only with practical needs, desires, and impulses. So, more organized forms of life, as you said, animal forms. Okay, and this grows into a life mind. The life mind is the vital mind. Okay, vital mind. Okay, manas, and vital intelligence. Okay, the in one letter of Sri Aurobindo explaining the different planes of consciousness, he says there's a difference between physical vital and vital physical. Okay. There's also a difference between vital mind and mental vital. They are grades. Okay. It is so detailed. Okay. So this was saying life mind is manas and vital intelligence. Okay. Largely the vital mind. Okay. So, and the life mind would probably be the manas. Okay. There is more life than anything else. Largely mechanical, automatic in the beginning, and concerned only with practical needs, desires, and impulses. Practical needs, food, especially, okay, and the reproductive necessities come later on, and desires, food, and sleep. I don't know if the worm sleeps, but anyway, that's what is meaning here. Practical needs, food and sleep, and desire to reproduce. The desires and impulses. All this activity is in its initiation intuitive and instinctive. Okay, so that's the instinct. It is the higher consciousness, the intuition, which is coming down and becomes mechanical in the animal. Okay? That's the instinct. So you may wonder if the intuition is coming down into the animal and it is behaving absolutely perfectly without mind, why is it not there in the human being? Because the human being has got a better instrument than instinct. He has got a rational mind, rational, logical mind he has got. So that acts like it is so large that it hides the instinct which is there in the human being. It is there, but it has gone down, it has become suppressed. Okay? Just as I was telling you the other day, like the stars are there in the sky even at daytime, but you don't see them because the daylight is so strong that it hides the light of the stars and you don't see them. It's exactly in the same way. Instinct is also there in man, but it is covered up by the higher light of the logical mind. Okay, that's why you lose the capacity. It is there, but you don't need it. You don't see it also because it is replaced by slightly higher power. You lose the lower power. Okay. All this activity is in its initiative, intuitive and instinctive. The underlying consciousness is translated in the surface substratum into automatic movements. The underlying consciousness is the subliminal consciousness that he's talking about. Okay? The potential direct separated knowledge is translated in the surface substratum into automatic movements of the conscious stuff of life and body. The mind movements, now we come into the minds. Okay? The mind movements, when they appear, are involved in these automatisms. There is a mind also there, but it is involved. They occur as a subordinate mental notation within the predominant vital sense notation. Okay. So he's using the word notation because he's talking of the scale, okay, the gamut of notes. 7 notes in the music and 7 notes everywhere also. 7 is there. So there is scale. Okay, that's why he's saying the mind is there, but like the musical note, na saregama padhanisa. Okay, do re mi fa sol la si do. So at the lowest one, only the lower sound is there. As you keep going higher and higher, the other things which are there become more and more obvious. Okay. He's using the word notation. It's very interesting. He is giving you a picture actually. But slowly, mind starts its task of disengaging itself. So, after life, mind starts disengaging itself, means it is involved in life, but slowly it starts coming out and starts behaving in its natural power. The natural power of the mind is logic. So slowly it comes out of logic, out of life, and it's not influenced by life. In the animal, the mind is there, but influenced very strongly by the life element. Okay, that's why you can see sometimes some animals use logic. Okay. We can see very often But it's not detailed logic. They can't do philosophical thinking, nor can they solve problems of scientific value. But they can use logic in a very small way. Many examples are there. For instance, the bird, the crane with long legs, when it wants to fish, what it does, it stands in the water, okay, and then throws a leaf on the surface of the water. Now, I'm giving you one very simple example. And when the leaf falls on the surface of the water, there's a ripple. And the fish think that the ripple is an insect which has fallen. And they come up. As soon as they come up, the crane with his long beak will catch the fish and take it. So there is an intention in the movement. So this is what is there. Even this intention is there even in the plants. Okay, when a fruit, but it is non-mental. When a fruit ripens, it falls to the ground. Okay, but why is it falling to the ground? Because it has to reproduce itself. So the seed which is there again sprouts another plant. So intention is there, and where there is intention, it is consciousness. Okay, so you can see how there is intention. Or even take the silk cotton tree. Okay, the silk cotton tree, the pod, okay, the cotton pod breaks open. It becomes matured and breaks open, and each seed is provided with very fine fibers and it flies in the air and goes far away and then drops into the ground. So you can see how nature is. Intention and consciousness is there everywhere is the purpose, but it is not mental. Okay, very interesting. Okay, this is what Science is saying about instincts. Okay? But as the evolution grows, mind starts becoming separate from life. Okay. But slowly, mind starts its task of disengaging itself. It still works for the life instinct, life need, life desire, but its own special characters emerge. And what are those characters of mind? Observation, invention, device, intention, execution of purpose. While sensation and impulse add to themselves emotion and bring a subtler and finer affective urge and value to the crude working reaction. Let's look at each word. Okay, it's so interesting in the language. But slowly, mind starts its task of disengaging itself. The action of the mind becomes pure. Okay? Still works for the life instinct in the beginning, life need and life desire. We've seen what life need is, no? Food, sleep, and reproduction, and life desire, but its own special characters emerge. These things belong to the mind. Observation, invention, okay, device, okay. Now, intention, execution of purpose, while sensation and impulse add to themselves. Okay. What is a device, for instance? It's a device and intention is very interesting. Execution of purpose. They say that man's emergence from the animal is distinguished by the production of instruments. The animal cannot create a hammer. It cannot create a screwdriver. This is in evolution. Those who study evolution, they say that the man's distinction from the animal is the invention of instruments. No animal can create an instrument. They use instruments. What is there in nature? For instance, the monkey, to break a nut, will use a stone. The stone is the instrument. But it is existing in nature. It is not invented by the monkey. Okay? And a chimpanzee, if he wants to eat ants, he will take a long straw and push it into the ant hill. And when it comes out, it's full of ants, and he uses it. So it's an instrument he's using. But the instrument is not created by him. It is used by him, which is already in nature. So now you can see in the language, device, intention. These are the mental capacities. Okay, so very interesting tools. Okay, in the beginning, the man also was creating hammers by taking a stone and tying fibers and a stick to it. That was the hammer. Okay? But he has created the instrument. So device, intention, execution of purpose. All this is not so much in the animal, but in man, the primitive man. While sensation and impulse add to themselves emotion and bring a subtler and finer affective urge. Okay? We are affected much more than in the animal. Okay? Finer affective urge and value to the crude vital reaction. So interesting if you go into detail to see what Sandhya is saying. Mind is still much involved in life, and its highest purely mental operations are not in evidence. So, what are these highest purely mental operations? Rationality, imagination, discrimination, and judgment. These are the highest purely mental operations. Imagination is a very powerful tool, and the animal does not have imagination. But human beings have rationality and imagination. They can also discriminate, okay? And they can judge what is good and what is bad. At the animal level, judgment is automatic. It is not mental. It is life. Okay, they learn what is harmful and what is not harmful. They learn, but it's a life judgment, not a mental judgment. Okay, so it accepts now. Just one second. Again, I have to. Yeah. It accepts a large background of instinct and vital intuition as its support. And the intelligence developed, though always growing as the animal life scale rises, is an added superstructure. So in man, the instincts and what is a vital intuition, okay, it is there. Okay, sometimes you know that you have to do things, okay, but the intelligence comes later on. It's a superstructure. That's what he's saying. That between life and mind, there are these planes. Huh? There is the vital mind and the mental vital. Then there is even lower than that is the material vital and the vital material. Okay. The material vital would be your nerves. Okay. The nerves are there. There is consciousness in that, but it's more of a life. There's a whole gradation. That's why you use the word animal life scale rises. It's an added superstructure. You get all the imagination, rationality, discrimination, and judgment. Okay, so we can read the next one now. When human intelligence adds itself. So, Sunki, can you read?
Yeah,
Hello?
yes,
When human intelligence. Oh, it's already, we got 6 minutes. We can read.
yes. When human intelligence adds itself to the animal basis, this basis still remains present and active, but it is largely changed, subtilized, and uplifted by conscious will and intention. The automatic life of instinct and vital intuition diminishes and cannot keep its original predominant proportion to the self-aware mental intelligence. Intuition becomes less purely intuitive, even when there is still a strong vital intuition. Its vital character is concealed by mentalization, and mental intuition is most often a mixture, not a pure article, or an alloy is added to make it mentally current and serviceable. In the animal, also the service consciousness can obstruct or alter the intuition, but because its capacity is less, it interferes less with the automatic mechanical or instinctive action of nature. In mental man, when the intuition rises towards the surface, it is caught at once before it reaches and is translated into terms of mind intelligence with a gloss or mental interpretation or mental interpretation added, which conceals the origin of the knowledge. Instinct also is deprived of its intuitive character by being taken up and mentalized, and by that change becomes less sure. Though more assisted, when not replaced by the plastic power of adaptation of things and self-adaptation proper to the intelligence. The emergence of mind in life brings an immense increase of the range and capacity of the evolving consciousness force, but it also brings an immense increase in the range and capacity of error. For evolving mind trails constantly error as its shadow, a shadow that grows with the growing body of consciousness and knowledge.
Yeah. Okay. So quite a lot he's saying here, and we have only got now 3 minutes, so we can't do the thing. But tomorrow we can look at this this paragraph very carefully. He's talking now of the emergence of the mind and its nature. Note interestingly why he's saying all these things, because he is trying to find out the origin of falsehood and evil. So how far he has gone away, he is going into great detail to examine all these things. So then he will tell you the origin of falsehood and evil, but the side effects also, all the side issues he is examining in great detail. Okay? When human intelligence adds itself. Tomorrow we'll start reading from here. Okay. So okay, we'll note down.
Yes, I'll make a note.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rangada.
Okay. Very interesting paragraphs and the ways we're discussing.
Yes, Rangada, very interesting and very, it's almost you're reading science, and very difficult science, not even ordinary.
Yes.
And very detailed, so detailed.
Very details, yeah. I mean, it really surprises, not even wonder. It takes you from wonder to wonder how one person could feel these nuances and the whole picture together.
Absolutely.
That's
Okay. So
Correct.
goodbye, everybody. Have a nice day.
right. Thank you, Rangada. Have a nice day.
I'm